If we did not have global rules of the game prepared, run, and enforced by multilateral institutions, we are all losers, but especially countries that are not superpowers. And Canada, India are strong global players, but they're not superpowers. And so we need the security and the transparency and the certainty and stability of decision-making that these institutions provide. The drivers of prosperity are trade, investment, technology flows, and of course, exchanges in ideas and values more broadly. And so organizations like the WTO and other Bretton Woods institutions, indeed regional institutions and the G20, perhaps at the apex, help us create that network of alliances and norms that we need to have a functional global economy. It is a pity, of course, that in times of crisis and in times of questioning of globalization, that organizations like the WTO are sidetracked or not taken seriously, bypassed. We saw that in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I also think countries quickly realize how much they lose by doing that. And so while in the short run, there may be some gains from ignoring the WTO, no one, not even the large players, are better off as a result. And so Canada and India, as what I would call credible, neutral third parties in this, have a role to play in reforming and making the institution more relevant. The Ottawa process that Canada has initiated, and of which India is a keen member, is one such example. Technology is not something that happens as manna from heaven. It is not something that happens independently of our society and of our values. Technology happens because it's shaped from within. And so the values that drive technology have to be the values that drive other aspects of our society and economy. The analogy I've often made is with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is the guiding document that hundreds of countries have now signed on to, starting in the late 1940s. It doesn't mean that every country abides by every element of the UDHR, but having that overarching set of principles gives us a beacon. It helps us frame national and subnational legislation, and over time, it helps us name and shame and perhaps even punish people who go against its tenets. Something similar needs to happen in the case of technology, that we have to have shared values on how and why we create technology and to what uses it can be put. This is not something that countries can do all on their own, because technology flows across borders and we all use each other's technologies. But in the digital realm, if you think of, for example, how robots are developed, what kinds of values should shape the algorithms that drive machine learning and artificial intelligence, there must be some set of broad principles that all countries, certainly all the major scientific powers where technological change is happening, buy into. And if we had that kind of global compact, then I think we would see that technology is serving humankind rather than the other way around.